Hey, everybody doing? It's dyclif here, and welcome to Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals in NBA 2K12 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs. Well, we're still inside the AT&T Center, and first off, let me just say why this game is about 9 minutes long instead of, 13, inside the double-digit minute range, as Thabo Cephalosha already throws it down. Mainly because this was the most defensive game I've ever seen in my life. Because I'm not going to ruin the final score, but if you are one to skip to the end of the game, this would be the one to watch. It was probably the most action-packed fourth quarter you can ask for. It's back and forth, and I hope I've got you interested until the end of the game. So, anyways, like, both teams scored well below what they did in Game 1. Let's just say that. Because at the end of the first quarter, I mean, you can tell already. There's we're already 1/4 of the way through the first quarter and the score's 4-4. That's something crazy. But anyways, in Game 1, I saw the Spurs turn the ball over just sporadically throughout the course of the game, as Tony Parker adds a little Pepe Le Pew on that layup. I've always wanted to say that, so don't judge. But anyways, the Spurs were turning the ball over like crazy in the first half of Game 1. They were just throwing it away. They had 14 turnovers inside the first half and only 3 inside the second half. And I think that's what really won them the game into the second half. They had a magnificent fourth quarter. They were down 72-61 at the end of 3. And they scored 39 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. And I think that's just Popovich, for one. He's the greatest coach left inside the game today. If Phil Jackson was still there, I would debate it because Phil has 11 rings to his name. But Popovich right now is the best coach in the league for a couple of reasons. One, he's old. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he's probably within 68 to 75, somewhere in that range. But he's just been in the league longer than any other coach, and he has the experience needed, and so does his team. So that mixed in with that, and just his words of wisdom, like you heard him say, "Play nasty," or something like that. I mean, that's all it takes to get these Spurs to play well. And I don't understand. The Spurs can just kick it into a whole other gear anytime they want. It's unexplainable, really, how the Spurs can just go from, hanging around to all of a sudden blowing you out. It's absolutely crazy. And Manu Ginobili with a fantastic Game 1. He had 26 points. The big three for San Antonio really stepped up. I think Duncan had 16, Parker had 18, or reversed. I got that mixed up, maybe, I don't know. But Durant, continuing to do what he does, he continued to score, but I mean, it just wasn't enough. Like, the Thunder's supporting cast really didn't help out that much. I mean, James Harden had a below-average game versus technical six-man Manu Ginobili, who is sometimes coming off the bench, sometimes not, but I don't think he played enough games this season coming off of the bench to be considered six-man. I think that's the reason why, because Manu Ginobili didn't start or didn't even play inside those games versus the Thunder during the regular season, so we can't really judge what he has put forth until this series. So I mean, right now, Manu Ginobili is beating James Harden at his own game. And I just find it so weird that James Harden and Manu Ginobili are one of the same. And believe it or not, this is the 4th point by Kevin Durant, the 2nd field goal he scored. So they were struggling. And Kendrick Perkins, I don't understand why he's so good offensively in this game. But James Harden and Manu Ginobili are one of the same. They're both left-handed. They both sort of have the same style of play, which I find hard to believe. Like, they can both shoot the three. They can both slash to the basket, and they're both good facilitators. Like, James Harden is arguably a better facilitator than Russell Westbrook, and, well, maybe not the same way as Manu Ginobili is Tony Parker, but Manu Ginobili is very crafty. So, right now, I got to give the edge to Spurs in this series. They have home court advantage. They have the experience, but you can never count out the Thunder because they are just a youthful team. But right here, I think the Spurs were trying to play way too fast inside the first half, and that's why you found them to be trailing for some of the game and for the most part of the third quarter. And, I mean, just their will to get back into it won them that game. And I said that they probably wouldn't score more points, or they'd probably score around the same points they would instead of game one, but they turned out scoring more. So these are two high-octane offenses going against each other. I think the Spurs need to go a little bit slower than the Thunder. I know that they want to run. Both teams want to run, but the fact is the younger team is going to win a running battle no matter what. So, and that's surprising to me. Like, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker can actually keep up with the Thunder. So that's something to look forward to. This game is inside the fourth quarter now, and it's literally going back and forth. The Thunder's, well, they were up by one, but now it's a tie game after Durant hit that shot. So I don't want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to ruin it at all. But, oh my gosh. Goaltending there, and there are some really weird calls inside this game. And also officials, I think they need to step their game up a little bit, even in 2K, because I'll get to it here in a second, as Tony Parker with the and one, somehow spinning past Westbrook. Magnificent play. And I still just don't understand why Kendrick Perkins, for some reason, is an offensive juggernaut all of a sudden. Inside this series on NBA 2K12, he's averaging a double-double. And right here's the goaltending calls I was talking to you about. I even went into replay mode. It did not even leave Manu Ginobili's hands, and they called it goaltending. I mean, what kind of officials are reffing this game that causes that to happen? But anyways, the Spurs are surging right now, like Serge Ibaka, and they're up by 6. And the Thunder, I've seen this from the Lakers series, they know how to come back into a game when they're down like 9 or 10 points. Wow, James Harden going reverse. And one, and I showed the free throw because I think I'm going to start showing free throws that's under 1 minute and 30 seconds. All the points that you don't see scored in a game is free throws. And Steven Jackson with the fadeaway at about the free throw line, about 12, 13 feet, hitting it there. And then a great play designed for Kevin Durant to hit the three. We have a tie game. Is it going to go into overtime? Tim Duncan in the post. I mean, just too simple, too legendary. The last chance for the Thunder to score. Let's see what they can draw up. Westbrook has it at the top of the key. Drives, draws the double. Kicks it out to James Harden for the win. No good. And the San Antonio Spurs will take Game 2, and this series is tied in NBA 2K12. This was probably the second most action-packed game I've ever seen, even though it was such a low-scoring game for some reason between two high-octane offenses. But you be the judge. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.